Technology may have been miseducated, but you do not have to be. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Miseducation of Technology podcast. I am your host, Danielle, an attorney, tech policy professional, and someone who is deeply committed to helping the Black community understand how technology is shaping our lives. And today we are digging into a critical issue that's reshaping the very foundation of our economy, and that is automation. And what does that even mean for the Black community? So, from self checkout lanes and AI powered hiring tools to robotic warehouses and self driving trucks, automation is revolutionizing how work gets done. But not everyone is benefiting equally. While efficiency and innovation are the headlines, the fine print tells a more complicated story, one where Black workers are disproportionately at risk of being left behind. Now, why am I saying that? Because many of the sectors where Black workers are overrepresented, such as transportation, manufacturing, retail, food service, and administrative support, are the very industries being transformed or eliminated by automation altogether. But as always, this episode isn't just about the threat, it's about the opportunity. It's about naming the pattern, breaking the cycle, and making sure that Black workers aren't pushed out of the future of work. So, in this episode, we'll walk through 5 key parts. First, we'll break down the data showing how automation is already displacing Black workers. Then we'll look back at the history of Black labor displacement in America because unfortunately, this moment is not new. Next, we'll examine the industries being hit hardest by automation today, and then we'll talk about why that actually matters. And finally, we'll focus on solutions, how Black workers can reskill, reclaim agency, and build power in this new economy. So let's get into it. Part 1. The data doesn't lie. So let's start with the facts. According to the Brookings Institution, nearly 1/4 of Black workers are in roles considered highly susceptible to automation. The Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago notes that Black workers are overrepresented in 17 of the 30 jobs most at risk. That includes cashiers, drivers, food service workers, and administrative assistants. McKinsey and Company projects that up to 4.5 million Black workers could be displaced by automation by 2030. Let that sink in. Millions of livelihoods gone or dramatically altered within just a few years. But this isn't just about jobs disappearing. It's about economic stability, generational wealth, and mobility. And once again, Black communities are being asked to adapt without being adequately prepared or supported. To understand why, we have to go back, way back into time. I don't know if y'all caught that reference, but it was funny to me. Anyway, my apologies. I digress. Let's take a look at part 2, a history of labor displacement. So economic exclusion didn't start with AI. Automation is just the newest wave in a long tide of labor displacement that's shaped Black life in America. After slavery, the promise of economic independence was quickly crushed. For instance, 40 acres and a mule never materialized. Instead, Black families were funneled into sharecropping and domestic labor, trapped in cycles of debt, discrimination, and instability. During the Great Migration, Black workers found new opportunity in industrial cities. Factory jobs offered better wages, union protections, and sometimes a path to the middle class. But even then, Black workers were often last hired, first fired, and paid less than their white colleagues. Then came deindustrialization. From the 1970s through the 1990s, factories closed or moved offshore. and automation crept in. Black communities were hit hard, jobs vanished, wages stagnated, and entire cities were hollowed out. Now we're facing a digital version of that same history, but the pace is faster, the reach is broader, and the safety nets are weaker than ever. Part 3, where automation hits the hardest. So, in this segment, I want to break down the sectors most affected and where Black workers are most vulnerable. So, let's start with transportation and warehousing. Jobs like truck driving, public transit, and warehouse logistics have long provided reliable wages and stability for Black workers, especially those without college degrees. But automation is rapidly changing that landscape. Companies like Waymo, Tesla, and Aurora are testing autonomous trucks that can drive coast to coast without a human at the wheel. Also, UPS and FedEx are investing in autonomous delivery vans and drones to streamline last mile delivery. Amazon's fulfillment centers now use AI powered robots to move shelves, sort packages, and even load delivery trucks, reducing the number of workers needed per shift. And startups such as Starship Technologies and Neuro are rolling out sidewalk robots and small delivery pods that can replace local courier jobs, particularly in urban areas. This is no longer theoretical. It's actually happening now. And in cities where warehousing and delivery jobs are some of the last remaining decent paying roles for Black workers, this shift threatens to destabilize entire communities. Next up, retail and food service. Now, retail and fast food jobs have often served as fallback or entry level work for Black workers navigating workforce issues in other sectors. But automation is quickly shrinking the availability of these roles. Amazon Go stores eliminate the need for checkout altogether, using sensors and computer vision to track items as customers walk out of the store. Walmart, Target, and Kroger are expanding self checkout kiosks and even experimenting with AI monitored smart carts. And even Starbucks uses its Deep Brew AI system to automate staffing decisions and digital ordering. And this is particularly interesting to me because McDonald's, White Castle, and Chipotle are piloting fully or semi automated kitchens. In some locations, robots prepare fries, assemble burgers, and pack orders with minimal human involvement. And overall, kiosks, mobile apps, and voice bots are replacing in store cashiers and order takers at scale. And when these tools are fully implemented, they don't just reduce jobs, they reduce hours, benefits, and promotional opportunities, creating a race to the bottom in sectors that already pay the least. The next industry at risk is manufacturing. Once a path to the middle class, manufacturing jobs were a cornerstone of Black working class prosperity, especially in places like Detroit, Cleveland, and Birmingham. But today, those factories look very, very different. For example, Ford, General Motors, and Toyota now rely on AI powered assembly lines that require fewer workers per car. Samsung and Foxconn use robotic arms and smart sensors to assemble electronics in seconds, replacing thousands of routine factory roles. Smart factories powered by the Internet of Things and machine learning optimize production in real time, drastically reducing the need for human oversight. And lastly, even meat packing plants, long a site of dangerous but stable employment, are incorporating robotic butchering systems to cut labor costs. So, without strong union protections or retraining pipelines, Black workers, especially older ones, are being pushed out of these industries with few options to transition. And the last industry we're going to discuss today is administrative and customer service support. Now, these sectors have historically provided stability for Black women in particular. Roles like administrative assistants, receptionists, and call center reps. But many of these jobs are disappearing quietly through software. So AI chatbots like Zendesk's AnswerBot, Google's Dialogflow, and Amazon Lex can handle customer inquiries without much human oversight. Virtual receptionists powered by companies like Ruby and Smith.ai now answer phones and book appointments for small businesses. Workday, SAP, and Oracle offer AI driven tools that automate payroll, scheduling, data entry, and performance management, reducing the need for HR and admin teams altogether. Even tasks like onboarding, document processing, and benefits management are now handled by machine learning systems and no code automation platforms like Zapier or UiPath. The result? A slow erosion of administrative jobs that once offered a foothold into professional environments, cutting off a vital source of upward mobility. Now, in part four, I want to talk about why this matters. Understanding why automation matters requires looking beyond the technology itself. The machines and software are only the surface. What lies beneath is a reshaping of our entire economic, social, and political structure. We are told that automation is progress, that it will create efficiency, drive innovation, and free us from the burdens of routine work. And some of that may actually be true, but the reality is that the impact of automation depends entirely on how it's implemented and who it is designed to benefit. And right now, it is accelerating in ways that threaten to deepen inequality. So let's look at what automation for the Black community actually means. Imagine a world where truck drivers are no longer needed because fleets of autonomous vehicles run shipping routes 24/7 without breaks. Long haul trucking, once one of the most reliable middle income careers for Black men without a college degree, no longer provides that economic anchor. Families that once relied on that paycheck lose not just income, but access to health insurance, retirement contributions, and the generational stability that that job made possible. In the same world, Amazon warehouses continue replacing human workers with robots that can sort, pack, and ship packages faster than any person ever could. The thousands of Black employees working in fulfillment centers across the country, often as a last line of employment in post industrial towns, are slowly phased out. They're not fired all at once. Their hours are cut, their shifts are inconsistent, their opportunities for promotion disappear, and eventually, so do their jobs. Meanwhile, in cities across the U.S., fast food restaurants and big box retailers roll out more automation under the radar. Self-checkout kiosks become the default. Touchscreens take your order. Kitchen robots handle the fryers and the grills. Stores experiment with fully cashierless models. And the people who once found entry-level opportunities in these spaces, Black youth, single mothers, formerly incarcerated individuals trying to re-enter the workforce, find that the job they were depending on no longer exists. Even administrative work, once considered a stepping stone to middle class security, is being hollowed out. AI powered scheduling tools, virtual assistants, and automated onboarding systems are doing the work of entire departments. Black women, who disproportionately hold roles as office managers, receptionists, and administrative assistants, are being quietly erased from office life, not because they've done anything wrong, but because the job itself has been deemed replaceable. These examples are not speculative. They are already happening, slowly, strategically, quietly, and without targeted intervention. These changes will not simply disrupt Black communities, they will completely destabilize them. Jobs are the foundation on which so many other aspects of stability are built. When employment disappears, it doesn't only impact individual households. It shocks entire communities. It affects school funding. It weakens local economies. It increases dependence on under-resourced public services. And over time, it undermines the social contract altogether. Automation, if left unchecked, has the potential to strip away more than labor. It can strip away autonomy. It replaces human judgment with algorithmic decisions, decisions that are often shaped by biased data and profit driven logic. In episode 2 of the podcast, we saw examples of this in automated hiring systems that screen out applicants with non traditional resumes, or predictive policing software that disproportionately targets Black neighborhoods based on flawed historical data. At the same time, these systems create new layers of opacity. When decisions are made by machines, who gets hired, who gets fired, whose resume makes it through the first round, which communities get investment, and which ones are flagged as quote unquote high risk, there's often no clear explanation and no one accountable. The opacity of these systems make it harder for individuals and communities to contest or even understand the barriers they're up against. So what does all of this mean for how we move forward? First, it means we need to expand the scope of the conversation. The question isn't solely, will my job be replaced by a robot? That's just too narrow. The real questions are, who is developing these systems? Who values are shaping them? Who is being trained to work with or lead them? And who stands to benefit, not just economically, but structurally? If only those already at the top have access to the skills, capital, and decision-making power to shape the automation era, then the future of work will simply reproduce the inequalities of the past, just with faster machines and fewer guardrails. But that outcome isn't fixed. We have the tools to respond, such as training, policy reform, targeted investment, and it's already within our reach. What's needed now is intentional preparation. That includes building both technical skill like coding, data literacy, or cybersecurity, and structural understanding, meaning the ability to interpret how policy, power, and design choices shape the systems we interact with every day. So now we've talked about what's happening, who it impacts, and why it matters. But awareness alone isn't enough. The next step is action, intentional, informed, and community driven action. So let's shift from analysis to strategy. In part 5, what we can do, training, policy, and community. So let's be clear. We don't need just more education. We need targeted, affordable, and accessible training that leads to real jobs. So here are some organizations and programs doing that work. Number 1, Grow with Google, Google's career certificates. They offer low-cost certificates in IT, data analytics, UX design, cybersecurity, and project management. No degree required. Number 2, Perscolas. They are a free tech training nonprofit offering boot camp in software engineering, cybersecurity, and IT support, specifically for underrepresented groups. Code 2040. They support Black and Latinx tech talent through internships, mentorship, and leadership training for college students and early career professionals. Number 4, Blacks in Technology Foundation. They offer IT certification scholarships, mentorship, and networking for Black professionals in technology. Number 5, Empower. They provide free training in IT cybersecurity, especially for veterans and young adults from underserved communities. Number 6, General Assembly Tech Prep Program. They provide coding, UX, and data science boot camps with diversity-focused scholarships. Number 7, IBM Skills Bill. These are free self-paced courses in cloud computing, AI, and cybersecurity with credentialing and mentorship. Number 8, Year Up. They provide one-year workforce development programs combining skills training and internships in business analytics, software development, and IT. Number 9, the Hidden Genius Project. They train Black male youth in entrepreneurship, coding, and leadership. And last but not least, number 10, Reboot Representation. They focus on advancing Black and Latina women in tech through mentorship and community-based career support. Now, this is just some of the opportunities that are out there. We have barely scratched the surface of what you can probably find online by doing your own Google search and calling around yourselves. But because I'm always working to add value to your life and equip you with the knowledge you need to thrive in this digital world, I've compiled this information plus more into a handy dandy resource to support your next steps. You can access it through the companion blog to this episode entitled Your Guide to Reskilling in the Age of Automation on my website, attorneydanielle.ai/blog. And if you end up visiting the blog post, leave a comment below the blog post and let me know that you actually listened to episode 3 of the Miseducation of Technology podcast. Well, you guys, that is all for today's episode of the Miseducation of Technology podcast. Next time, we are shifting gears to ask a different question. Are you being tracked? From GPS pings to AI-powered surveillance cameras, we're living in a full-blown surveillance economy. And most of us don't even realize how deep it really goes. Your phone, your apps, your browser, even your car are collecting data in real time on you. It's reminiscent of the song "A Eye in the Sky" by Alan Parsons Project. It also reminds me of the song "Watching Me" by Jill Scott. And the worst part is, most of us don't even know who's watching or what they're doing with what they see. So tune in next time as we break down who's collecting your data, how they're using it, and how to protect yourself in a digital world that thrives on surveillance. Because in a world where information is power, protecting your data is protecting yourself. Until then, remember, technology may have been miseducated, but you do not have to be. Let's learn, let's grow, and let's thrive together. See you next week on the Miseducation of Technology podcast.